Hey everybody, Chris Lotus here, and Kazuki Kazama's trailer is finally out. Now, if you've watched my recent videos on Sam Show, you'll know that I'm actually quite a fan of Kazuki and his brother Sogetsu. Sogetsu more so than Kazuki by a tad bit, but I still think Kazuki is cool. Throughout this breakdown, we're going to be using Samurai Shodown 5 Special as a source to see if we can find any parallels with Kazuki in that game and how he might translate into Sam Show 7. With all that being said, let's get right into it. First and foremost, this is more of a personal matter, but why in the world did they pick Darlie Dagger to be the punching bag for this entire trailer? Like, do him and Darlie have beef? Like, is there gonna be a storyline where it's like they're gonna send him after her? I'd really like to know. That kind of hurt. For those that might not know, Darlie Dagger is my main in this game, and I love that character. The design, she looks beautiful. The gameplay with the saw blade, the punch. Oh my god, the punch! The adrenaline, the hype that I get when I hit the punch! I'm so sorry, we're talking about Kazuki here. Anyways, I love the added detail on his gloves with the flames. Far as I remember, I never recall him having that. His gloves were either entirely red or would have like red with like gold like highlights on it, but I don't think ever flamed, so that was a really cool touch. I'm really curious to see what they do with Sogetsu when he comes around. Now for the attacks. First thing we see is standing heavy slash 5AB for you Samurai Shodown 5 special fans. Looks pretty much the same. The only thing different of course is it's just done in Samurai Shodown 7's art style. His jumping heavy slash into his standing heavy slash, the near one that is, pretty much the same, except now in this game of course, it knocks down if you combo those together. And then there's his signature move, his Enmetsu, aka the Sisterhood of the Exploding Pants. Shoutouts to whoever came up with that. Now, in SS5 Special, it had some invincibility properties, but it was throwable on startup, and it had horrible recovery. It could do great chip damage to a cornered opponent, seeing that the opponent couldn't get pushed back any further. So, it'll be interesting to see how this works in Sam Show 7, seeing that we have characters from Yashimaru to Jubei who can pretty much chip a lot of people out with their weapon flip techniques. I feel like it'll be pretty remarkable if Kazuki can still get some good chip damage with this in Sam Show 7. I do want to point out one little thing. I know they were trying to showcase the moves just for the sake of everybody watching the trailer and they want to make it as flashy as possible, but Darlie Dagger was way inaccurately spaced for that high tide. Kazuki is not that big of a guy. I'm fairly confident that was gonna be a whiffed move. Just saying. Then we have this Daiba Kusatsu, aka his one-fisted grab, which is actually more of a touch grab than a command grab. And the very first one that we see is more than likely the light version, because we also see the first instance of his summoned fireball. More on those later. The reason I feel it's the light version is because it doesn't use said fireball charge. In SS5 Special, this move was primarily a combo ender. It had invulnerability on startup, but was highly unsafe on block and whiff. The second instance, shown immediately afterward, is done while in Rage Explosion and uses the fireball charge, which I'm assuming would be a level 2 or a level 3 charge. Can't quite tell. And more than likely, this is some big damage. Then there's my personal favorite Kazuki Kazama move, and that is the Hamura Geishi. This is a fireball that can only be activated whenever Kazuki is knocked down and has charges available. This fireball will chase opponents in a straight line based on where they are upon activation. You'll more than likely be using this to shut down Oki attempts or any other attempt from the opponent to apply more pressure to you. Knowing how this fireball travels, Bear in mind that this would mean if the opponent was in the process of jumping, it would fly off into the sky, and you totally waste your charges. Follow-ups to the fireball were possible in Samurai Shodown 5 Special, and looking at the trailer, apparently they still are. And finally, there's his weapon flip technique. Much like his standing heavy slash, the animation for the most part is the same. In SS5 Special, it had strike and lower body invincibility during the dash, but the startup made it nearly impossible to use it as a reversal on reaction. Also, Kazuki would bounce off the wall and fall to the floor if this move totally whiffed. I wonder if they're gonna bring that into SS7. In the trailer, this weapon flip technique punished Darly Dagger's whiffed standing heavy slash. That move has 60 frames of recovery on it. So if this weapon flip retains the invincibility it had in SS5 Special, it might be useful for catching any foolishly thrown out moves from afar. And that's basically it, but I also want to take notes of some moves that we didn't see. The first one, while we didn't see it in the trailer, it's basically guaranteed because we saw an essence of it, and that is of course the move in which he manually charges up a fireball. The fireball charge maxes out at level 3 and is best used when you have some breathing room, seeing that it had 62 frames of recovery in SS5 Special, and I'm fairly confident it'll have so much recovery in SS7 that you can't really throw it out freely. If you attempted to charge past level 3, Kazuki will actually look confused after attempting to do so, which pretty much leaves him all the more open. While it's a pretty bad situation to be in, I always thought the animation was kind of funny. We also didn't see his Shonetsu-kan, aka the fireball. All versions used fireball charges in SS5 Special except for the light version, which was best used sparingly and at a long distance due to having very long recovery. The charges used depended on which version was performed. The B fireball used one charge, it hits twice, and the recovery was not as bad as A fireball, but still pretty risky. The C fireball used two charges, it hits 3 times, had minimal recovery, and easier to combo off of. The AB fireball used all charges, it hit once, did massive damage, and was best to hit confirm into since you burn out all your charges. The blast would also send Kazuki flying backward, kinda like how Dan Hibiki does when he does his Howl Godoken. And that's basically my thoughts and my reactions and my predictions for how Kazuki Kazama might play in SS7. Let me know in the comments how you feel. Are you hyped for Kazuki Kazama? Let me know. Until next time, this is Chris Lotus. See ya!